Kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to episode 207 of the Rotten Views podcast. I mean, I woke up today with a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit stuffed up, but it's fine. It's fine. Episode 206 just dropped this morning. We have episode 207 in pre-production, as we stated, right at this exact moment. Well, at this exact moment when you're listening to this podcast, we actually have the podcast episode out, so I don't know why I'm saying all that stuff. I don't know. It's been a long day, and it's pretty late tonight, like always, and I'm tired, to be honest with you guys. I won't be surprised if I actually split this movie up into 2 recording sessions instead of just doing it in 1 session like I usually do, just because the weekend's been a little bit wonky. Been celebrating some stuff with my child, her birthday actually coming up in the following week, just trying to get all the family birthdays all set up and everything. It's been a little bit hectic, but it's fine. Everything is fine. Oh, being an adult and a parent is fun. It's a little bit stressful at times, but it's fun. It's a fun little adventure, trying to get everything done all at once. I'm sure some of you guys understand, at least. We have what I hope is going to be a really fun episode set up for you guys. As, stating that fact, I don't know yet, because I haven't actually watched the movie at hand for this episode yet, because I'm just doing the intro right now at this point in time. But I think it's going to be fun. I hope it's going to be fun. It's got Alex Winters in it. It's got a couple other characters that I enjoy, or actors that I enjoy. So hopefully it will be a good one. But before we do get into too much of the movie, let's do a little bit of housekeeping at this point in time.
Housekeeping?
No, thank you. Sleeping.
Housekeeping?
Could you come back in an hour?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
More towels. Need sleepy.
Housekeeping, you want mint for pillow?
Please go away. Let me sleep for the love of God.
As always, if you guys could rate the podcast, if you're on Apple or iTunes, feel free to leave a review on there. If you're on Spotify, feel free to leave a star review. I'm not going to ask you for 5 stars, but if you want to do a 5-star review, that's highly appreciated, and I thank you so much. But I always say, just be honest with it. Just rate it whatever you think it's deserving. Also, if you guys could hit that share button and share it on your X or your Instagram or your TikTok, I don't know, wherever you can share stuff, I appreciate if you could hit that share button. It's just expanding the horizon and the viewership of the podcast, helps grow the community so much more. And as always, if you guys could check all my links down below at Typhon Science. You can follow me on any social media accounts. We have Instagram, we have the Facebook page, we have X or Twitter, whatever you might want to call it. There's the TikTok channel, but there's also the main thing that we've been pushing so much is the YouTube channel, where I do live streams over there as well. We have the weekly game video that drops every single Wednesday. I have little shorts over there as well, community posts, bunch of content all over the place. And once we hit 1,000 subs on there, we're going to be giving away some free artwork, so definitely go check that out. I appreciate if you guys hit the share button on that as well. We will also be doing some live streams over on the Facebook page at some point in time. I just got to figure out the technical side of things to do like a multicast stream on YouTube as well as Facebook. And maybe we'll even dust off the Twitch account as well, because I haven't been on Twitch in like a year, if not longer. So I want to play some Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got a bunch of old retro games set up that I want to play as well. So it's going to be a fun time. And then there's Fortnite. The new season of Fortnite dropped. I suck at it so far. At least I've been just fighting a bunch of sweaty people. It seems every single match has been a group of sweats every single time. But definitely go check it out. And definitely, like I said, go check out the YouTube channel. Like I said, I was live streaming for the last 6 nights in a row like 2 to 3 hours a night. So we got a ton of content. I haven't been sleeping much lately, not gonna lie. So we got a lot of stuff coming out, and I got a lot of artwork coming out as well, so definitely go check that out. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, if you guys are thirsty and trying to beat that heat, make sure to go to w.gg for all your thirst quenching needs. We got shaker cups, we got different mixes for your drinks, different proteins and whatnot. Definitely go check out the samples. There's also some merch over there as well, so if you want to save yourself a little bit, save yourself 10%, saves you a little bit, gives me a little bit, make sure to use the promo code Rotten Reviews at checkout to save yourself 10%. I think that's pretty much everything that we got. I have some other sponsorships that I'm trying to line up. I'm not sure if they're going to work out or not, but we'll see how things go in the next couple of weeks, and I'll keep you updated on those as well. But enough of that. Let's just start talking about the movie that you guys are here to listen to or hear me discuss for the first time ever. This movie is from 1993 and it's called Freak. Thank you if this is your first episode. I appreciate it. Make sure to check out the back catalog because we have a ton of episodes, tons of hours to keep you busy and preoccupied. If this is your first episode with us, I just want to let you guys know what I do with the podcast. I talk about a movie from start to finish, all the points in between that interest me. So I'm pretty much going to have a spoiler episode of the podcast like every week I do. So if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1993, feel free to pause it now. You can find it on YouTube. There's a couple copies actually on YouTube if you want to watch it on YouTube, and you pretty much find it, I think, in like the Walmart bins for cheap as well. I think I might have seen it in there once, like during Halloween season, not in the normal season or all year round, but in the Halloween season, which we're approaching very quickly, I might add. But anyways, back to the movie at hand. This movie has a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. The initial release date was October 1st, 1993. It's pretty sad. It had a budget of $12 million, and I can understand why it didn't go farther, because it actually had a box office of apparently $29,296. That is a big L to take, sadly. And it's distributed by 20th Century Studios, and the directors are Alex Winter and Tom Stern, which we're going to discuss in a couple of seconds here. The description as read on IMDb: a vain actor, his best friend, and an activist end up at a mutant freak farm run by a weirdo scientist. I love that description. That sounds like a me type of movie. I absolutely love the description for that. Simple, straightforward, right to the terms that we need to find out enough information on the movie. And of course, like I said, the directors are Tom Stern and Alex Winters. First we're going to talk about is Tom Stern. Obviously he was the director for this 1993's Freaked. He was also the director for 4 episodes of a TV show in 2007 called Saul the Mole Man, which I know nothing about at all, but I'm going to be looking that up because I'm very curious about it. He also was the director for a 2019 short called Adams. He was also the writer for 1997's An American Werewolf in Paris. He was also the director for 1990's Ice Cube, Who's the Mac? I'm assuming it's a music video. I don't personally know what it is, but it's Ice Cube related, so yeah, that's kind of funny, I guess. And then he's done a bunch of other various TV roles. He did like an episode, or actually he was the director for 44 episodes, or 43 episodes actually, of The Man Show from 2000 to 2003. I remember watching that as a teenager back in the day on Spike TV. He also did 16 episodes of The Andy Milonakis Show in 2005-2006. So he's done some unique shows, I guess. Next person that's in the director's seat we're going to talk about is Alex Winter. Of course, you probably know him as Bill from Bill and Ted. He's done all those movies. He was also Vlad in 2024's Destroy All Neighbors. He was also the director for a 2022 movie that I don't know anything about, but it's called The YouTube Effect. So we might have to look that one up as well. And he also was in that Saul the Mole Man for 5 episodes where he does the voice for King Mole Man. He's also in an episode of Bones, which I actually never realized. I don't think I remember that episode at all. He was also in the Red Hot Chili Peppers Knock Me Down music video in 1989. I'm not really a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, but I might have to actually watch that just to see how it is. He's also Marco in The Lost Boys from 1987. He's also in a short from 1988 called he was played a character called Mexican Hitchhiker for the movie called Barbecue Movie. I don't know what the hell that is at all, but maybe we'll see if we can find it on YouTube or something. This movie also features 3 writers, one of being Tom Stern, of course, which we've already talked about. Another one being Alex Winters, which we already talked about. And the final writer being Tim Burns. He was apparently part of the crew for 2016's The Angry Birds movie. He was also another writer for American Werewolf in Paris. He was also the writer for 1999's Jacob Tutu Meets the Hooded Fang, which I know nothing about. He was also the supervising writer for 22 episodes in 2005 for a puppet show that I used to watch every now and then on Comedy Central, while just trying to find something to fill till the next show showed up. Crank Yankers. It's a stupid show. It's not a good show by any means, but it's like an adult comedy show with like Muppet-looking characters. As always, we're going to talk about a couple of the cast members in the movie. We're going to skip Alex Winters because we already discussed them in the director segment. But one of the characters we're going to talk about, the character's name is Dick Bryan. He's played by William Sadler. Obviously, he's also the Grim Reaper from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in 1991. He was Haywood in 1994's The Shawshank Redemption. He was Jim in 2007's The Mist. He was also Stuart in 1990's Die Hard 2. I also believe he did a bunch of Tales from the Crypt episodes as well. So I was right. He was in 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt, but he was also in Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, playing the character Breaker. He was also in like The Outer Limits, The Omen, and a bunch of other TV shows here and there as well. The next cast member on the chopping block that we're going to talk about is the character called Sky Daly, who's played by Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields, of course, best known for being in The Blue Lagoon from 1980. Never actually watched it. She was Violet in 1978's Pretty Baby. Still didn't watch that one either. She was Jade in 1981's Endless Love. Haven't watched that one either. Shocker. She also was Wanda Nevada in 1979's Wanda Nevada. She's also in an Adult Swim cartoon called Mr. Pickles from 2013 to 2019 for 28 episodes, where she played Miss Goodman. Mr. Pickles is a very unique show, I guess you could say. It's very dark. I've only watched a couple episodes of it ever, but it's like this little border collie dog and this handicapped kid, I believe, and the dog just goes out and does a lot of demonic shit and just causes a lot of havoc on this little town, from what I remember. It's been a while, like I said. I haven't watched the whole thing at all. Probably watched like 2 full episodes, mainly seeing a couple clips here and there, but that's what I recall from it. The tagline for this movie is "Ugliness is in the eye of the beholder." Apparently, trivia: Keanu Reeves was paid $1 million for his uncredited role as Ortiz the Dog Boy. $1 million for an uncredited role. That's crazy to think of. I would take that money in a heartbeat. Anyways, enough about all that kind of stuff. I think we touched on the cast and whatnot enough for this. Are you guys ready to get started on the podcast? So let's get started on the podcast. I'm assuming you guys said yes. We're going to assume that that was the definitive answer right now. Even if it wasn't. And guess what? We're going to get started on the podcast right now. So like I said earlier, if you guys don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1993, feel free to pause it now, go watch it on YouTube, and come back. If not, just sit back, relax, get some popcorn, some Doritos, whatever snack it might be. Just relax, if you're home listening to it. If you're at work, hopefully this helps you get through the day. And if you're in the car, hopefully just keep your eyes on the road so there's no accidents. The world's already messed up enough as it is. But yeah, I'm going to start the movie now. So if you don't want to be spoiled, that was your last warning. So you're out of luck now. So just deal with it.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
Ricky Coogan, Brat Pack Sleazebag. Elijah C. Scuggs, Freak Show Tycoon, an amateur bioengineer.
I can look at a guy like Kevin Costner and see a giant peach grub.
When fate brought them together, Mr. Scuggs took an average Hollywood slime ball and made something out of him.
Oh, God! This was my good side!
20th Century Fox presents Freaked. It's about friendship.
I thought I told you to shut up!
Loyalty.
I say we kill him!
Life's big questions.
How many feminists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Oh, show business.
The public does not want to see disgusting, depraved, violent filth.
And I suppose Jake and the Fat Man was just a fluke.
It's about state-of-the-art technology. It's about Mr. T's, the bearded lady.
I am woman. Now like me.
It's about Bobcat Goldthwait as a sock.
It's the end of the world! The apocalypse!
It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry.
And it'll make a cold sore that you thought had healed up start bugging you again.
It's the kind of film Brooke Shields has always wanted to do.
Oh.
introducing Larry Bud Melman as the President of the United States.
What's the matter? Afraid of a little rock stuff?
In Freaked, coming soon to theater. Freaked, but ugly, but funny.
Welcome to show business, morons!
Like the movie starting out with that classic 20th century logo popping up, and then it gets really crazy, wonky looking, and we see the music picking up as like punk rock music, and then, you know, the Freaked font just starts popping up all over the place, and then we see the intro credits, and it's just very flashy and in your face. It's a little obnoxious, to be honest with you. Also, something I didn't realize in the intro credits, it says Mr. T's in the movie. I didn't see him listed at all when scrolling through the cast there quickly, but that's cool, that's a plus. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this while looking at the movie. Another character that's in the movie, I'm not sure how much he's in it, but Randy Quaid has a character. And of course, if you don't remember Randy Quaid, he's Cousin Eddie from Christmas Vacation. And then the movie just starts out with Sky Daily Show, and before that, it was a little news report saying the Flying Gimp has been like terminated, and that we're going to get back to our daily broadcast of the Sky Daily Show. As Sky Daily, Brooke Shields' character interviewing someone who's definitely in the shadows, and apparently it's been mutated, and it's just like, this is your first time actually showing everyone what you look like after your horrible accident. And then it's like a flashback scene where they want to hear about a story. And it's like, well, it's a long story, but yeah, I was here to, be a part of this multi-million-dollar company, and be like the spokesperson. And that's when we see Dick Bryan at the front of this table, getting ready to discuss what this whole corporation is about. And of course, the person on the other side of the table, who's all mutated now in the present day, is Alex's character, Mickey Coogan, I think was his name. And we see him, he's in his normal human form, but he looks like a douchebag, like this fancy actor. He's got black slick back hair and just has that douche look to him. And that's when Dick brings in George Ramirez to discuss how, he's been working with this chemical from the company this whole time, and that nothing's wrong with it and nothing happens. And this whole time that they're talking, and George Ramirez is explaining everything, he's mutating and changing, getting smaller and smaller the whole time. And Alex Winter's character is like, what's going on there? And then Dick offers him $2 million to be the spokesman, like the head of the company. He's like, $2 million sounds good, Dick, but he's like, no, I hear you. How about we make it $5 million? $5 million. Are you gonna be SS Man or whatever the company's title is? Are you going to be the spokesman? Are you going to be the head, the pitcher for this company? Are you going to be the face for this company? And then he gives 2 big thumbs up, and then next thing you know, he's on a big giant plane. He's like, it's just like that. It was Ricky Coogan, a toxic waste salesman. And on the plane, I believe it's Ernie, Coogan's friend, who's walking down the aisle, and now a bunch of girls are screaming because he's got a fake hand coming out of his crotch. And he's like, hey, where'd you get that from there, buddy? He's like, it started out as a pimple, and then I scratched it. And then we see this little redheaded kid who's up in the stowaway container area for your luggage, who's apparently stalking Rick. He's like, why are you working with this chemical company? He used to be good. And then Stewie starts to cry because apparently maybe that's his name, maybe that's what they just nickname him. And the next thing you know, we see a stewardess pushing the cart with all the drinks and stuff on it, and she just plows him right over, and he gets pushed down the aisleway of the jet. Little Stewie is trying to get up, and he's actually pulling out a lever that's actually the door for the plane, and he actually pulls the lever open, and he flies out of the plane. And then this guy on a wheelchair gets sucked out of the plane as well, and then the stewardess walks by and just closes the door like it's no big deal. And then the pilot's like, to the right you can see a great view of the Grand Canyon, and to the left you can see a little troll stuck on the plane. He's a little bit stricken and a little bit crazy. And they open up the shade and look out, and it's that Stewie kid again, just hanging on for dear life. And then next thing you know, you see Stewie letting go of the plane and landing in a field of hay with a bunch of cows. And he's like, hey, I'm okay. And then he gets smashed in the face with a book and starts screaming. And then we see Ricky, and he's talking to Ernie. He's like, yeah, welcome to this new place where it's, a home of good food and it's lots of sex. And then we see this plane landing the whole time as he's talking over it. And the plane just blows up as it's landing, and then we cut to them. He's like, sure glad we weren't on that one. And then we see a bunch of people protesting with EES signs and telling them to take their toxic crap away. And he's just like, oh, God, I don't think we're in the right area right now because these people want to kill us. And then Ricky sees one of the girls protesting, and he starts looking at her. He's like, ooh, I got a better idea. Let's go talk to her. And then his plan to get closer to her is to, have a disguise, because of course he's the face of this company, so she'll know who he is. And he he comes over to her on crutches, fully wrapped up like a mummy with random spots of blood, and then he falls on the ground in front of her. She's like, "Are you okay? Here, let me help you out. Let me hold you." And then we find out her name is Julie, and he's like, "My name's Josh. Nice to meet you." And then I think it's Ernie. He's like, "Hey, Mother Teresa, nice to meet you." And she just smashes him right in the face because she's not having any of that crap. Then we see them driving in the Jeep together, and Ernie's driving. He's like, I can tell you one thing. That Coogan guy sure is an asshole, huh, isn't he? And Julie's like, yeah, he's such an asshole. Like, who puts an actor as like a toxic waste salesman? Like, what's this crap going on? He's not even that good of an actor, to be honest with you, either. And then he gets really upset and pissed off. So then he starts ripping off the face mask. He's like, you think Slater could improv like this, huh? How do you think he's going to be doing this kind of stuff? And then Julie's just looking at him being like, oh, you are a dickhead, aren't you? And then we see them driving still, and we see them driving by a bunch of signs being like human worm and dog boy and frog man, and she just thinks he's talking to her about the whole toxic waste thing, but he's literally just reading the billboards that they're driving by, and then drive by a billboard that says Freakshow, and then Julie's like, Freakshow, let's go check that out. That sounds like fun. Let's go do it. And then Coogan's like, sounds like a family reunion for you now, doesn't it, huh? And they start driving down the Freaks road, and they get past the roadside, and then this like disclaimer starts coming on being like, you can't use freaks unless it's prohibited, blah 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 kind of crap. It's a funny little touch for the comedic sense of things. And then they're driving farther down this road, and everything gets dark and foggy, and of course, like any other spooky scene, we hear monkeys off in the background, and they finally get to the gates where it says Freakland, and we see this big like devil head kind of just spinning around. He's not the full devil face by any means, but he definitely has like, he's got the devil goatee and everything to it, so we can assume that maybe it's like a devil character. And Julie's all excited and pumped to be there. She's like, isn't this great? This is so cool. This is so real. And then Coogan's like, yeah, real stupid. Why are we even here? And then we find out who Randy Quaid's playing, because Randy Quaid is playing like the host of this Freakland carnival. He's like, children of hell, twisted little messes and crazy people. Yeah, I got them all here. And we see that this spitting devil head that's at the center of this spot is definitely based off of his face, because he's got the long hair, he's got the devil goatee, he's got the big sideburns and everything. And Randy Quaid's character in this movie is Elijah C. Scuggs. And apparently the Scuggs family has been doing the Freakshow carnival aspect of things for many, many years now at this point in time. And then we see Julie, she's all, happy about this moth that's laying on her finger. And then Scuzz is like, you came to me looking for weirdos? Look what you're dealing with. And then we see a frogman, Mr. Toad, crouched down behind them. He's like, Mr. Toad, he's my assistant. And as for the show, there's not another show until tomorrow evening. But I do have a private show, a private exhibit, if you want to go check it out in my little shed over there. And then Ernie's going to take a cig off his smoke, and Mr. Toad just sucks it in, and then next thing you know, we see Mr. Toad smoking it. He's like, alright, well, I guess I'm not having a smoke, so let's go check out your exhibit in your shed. I'm all walking into the shed, and then we see Skug just shutting the door. It's a close-up on his face, and he's just doing the evil laugh. And then next thing you know, we see the three of them all tied up on a different test tables, as Skuggs is looking for some paperwork. And Skuggs is like, maybe I should tell you a little bit more about what I actually do. I don't just exhibit freaks, I actually make them as well. Then he's like, behold, the Freaks machine. He pulls down this giant tarp. It's this giant Frankenstein's monster-esque machine. And Scud's like, so who wants to be a freak first? And he's like, ladies first. And Julie's like, go screw yourself. And he's like, I would if I could, but I'm stuck to the table right now. We see Scud's going through his computer program to like transform these people, and there's the deform option, and it's like a little bit, a lot, and then the final option is Michael Jackson. We see Toad firing up the machine. It's spraying, shaking, bunch of noise are all happening, and then we see this little spout, and Scuggs holds a beaker underneath it, and it just fills it up with some green slime. And apparently all Scuggs has to do is take the slime and rub it on the person's body, and it starts to freak them out. And Toad, before that, pushes the two tables together, and the next thing we know, we see a claymation scene happening, and it's them forming together as one person. And at one point in time, they turn into like an evil Gumby and Pokey at one point in time, and then the smoke clears, and we see Julie and Ernie are now together, like formed together. And then Ernie's like, well, at least I don't have to go too far for a piece of tail, at least. And Ricky is just looking on, being like, oh god, oh please don't do that to me. Please don't, I don't want to be like that at all. We just see Scoons making some more of that green slime. And that cuts to outside where we see his giant head rotating around. And we just hear Coogan just screaming in the background. And next thing you know, we see him waking up like the next day. We see his one eye, we hear the birds chirping. And then next thing we know, we see Scoogs on a red phone. It looks like the Batman phone from the old TV show. And Scoogs is like, I got something for you. I've created the ultimate freak. Well, sort of, kind of. He's like, I'm gonna need some more of that Zagot 20 so I can make some more freaks and get this perfected. And then the other guy on the other end of the phone, we can hear him talking. He's just like an evil mad laugh. And Scoogs is like, can you actually spell that out? And it's just him making different sounds. He's like, yes. And then he hangs up on him. He's like, okay, asshole. And then we see Scuggs fully waking up Coogan. He's like, hey, look at your new you. Come on, look at your new face. And of course, Coogan starts freaking out because it's all green and mutated. He's like, this was my good side. He's like, still is. Nah, just wait till you see what I got set up for the other side. And he starts dragging him outside to outhouse. And then they walk into the outhouse. What's this long ass shed? And he's like, wow, great use of the space. He's like, yeah, I learned it from Bob Vila. And then we see Bob Vila showing up. Bob pops up being like, yeah, you can make some more use of the space. And Scuggs like, give it a rest, Bob, and just smashes his face into the wall. And we see Bob Vila showing up outside the outhouse as Scuggs is leaving, talking about putting a toilet in there. He's like, you can learn it with my new book. And then we see Scuggs grab a hammer off of Bob Vila's work belt and just pop him in the head with it. Then, of course, in that little outhouse, we also see the other two stuck in there as well. And Coog's a little bit pissed off. He's like, oh yeah, Julie, let's go check it out. Looks so real. Is this real enough for you? Now I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then they want to see what Coogan looks like, so Coogan walks out of the shadows. And then Ernie starts puking all over the place because of how gross Coogan looks now. And Drew's like, it doesn't look so bad after all, right? You know, beauty's all in the eye of the beholder, right? And then we were met with Ortiz, the dog boy. And we see Ortiz just a random foot coming up to scratch his ear because, you know, that's what dogs do. And he's in full dog form. And we can definitely tell it's Keanu Reeves behind that makeup. Then inside this outhouse of all things, they start playing Hollywood Squares with the freaks because there's a bunch of other freaks inside the whole building. And they had the whole, like, X and circle and everything all set up, like the whole display set up inside. And we see the bearded lady as one of the members on the board. And it's actually Mr. D. And then one of the characters they show is the hideous frogman. And it's literally just a guy in a scuba suit for some reason, just yelling and screaming. And then Ortiz is like, you know, just because we're freaks doesn't mean we can't have some fun. And then Coogan starts freaking out. He's like, I'm not a freak. I'm nothing like you guys. I'm not a freak at all. I'm just a normal person. I'm just stuck here right now at this point in time. I like the design of Coogan, but you can definitely tell Alex Winters can't move his mouth that much because he's trying to talk, but his face isn't moving as much as his voice is working. And then Julie and Ernie go to sit down with Coogan to explain things to him and how Ortiz showed them that they gotta be together as a freak crew for the common wealth and the good of things. And Coogan's like, well, you're the one that wanted to see the freak show. So then Julie and Ernie start, choking him out because he won't listen. And then, one of the other freaks come over and it's the worm guy. He's like, we were all simple folks when we first came here. I was a worm scientist, and then I came and ran into Scoogs, and next thing you know, I got turned into this worm creature. And then one of the freaks is like this sock creature, and of course it's Bobcat Goldthwait of all people. it's just weird as hell seeing this sock puppet person. And apparently he's a fisherman. He went to go talk to Scoogs, and he's like, then I got turned into the sock. And he's like, sorry, I'm not much for stories. Mr. Cheese Story comes up, and apparently he was a pissed off trucker. And he meets Scoogs, and Scoogs is like, hey, you'd be better off without a dick. And then Mr. T wants to punch him. He's like, hey, I'm just being honest with you. And then they hug and make up over it. Then we see Julie and Ernie, well, it's more Julie than Ernie, playing like fetch with Ortiz. Or not so much fetch, but she's playing with a bone. And then Ortiz is like, hey, you keep your distance, right? To Ernie. And it's like, they're attached together, Ernie. So if you're gonna like screw her, you gotta like kind of technically screw him, I guess. And Coogan's like, soon enough the people will come to rescue me, and next thing you know, we'll be in LA and going to the plastic surgeon and getting fixed up. And I'm sure one of my hot ex-girlfriends would probably want me still, right? And the next thing you know, he starts picturing some ghost lady, and then the cow monster is like, it seems like you got a telepathic bond with something, huh? Doesn't seem like doesn't mean you're nuts or anything, but you just gotta follow your heart. Okay, so the copy that I was watching, I thought it was a girl at first because I saw it off on the distance, but it's actually the little redheaded kid, and he's freaking out. He's like, I'm Ricky Coogan's soulmate. And the cow's like, I'm sure if you just let that troll into your heart, he could help you. He could help you, save your life. You just let the little troll kid into your heart. Next thing you know, we see the troll kid drawing Alex, or Coogan, sorry. And he's actually drawing him what he looks like a freak now. And I guess this little troll kid is going around to different news things, telling them that, you know, they gotta find Coogan because Coogan's being mutated. And then a bunch of people from these news reporter stations are just throwing him through glass windows. And then there's a news station that finally picks it up. We see it, the little troll kid holding up the paper, and we just see like a mutated drawing, like kid's sketch on the front picture. And then these guys in suits just come pick up the troll kid, and they toss him into the back of the limo, and two of the suit guys are sitting on either side. And then the guy who was laughing on the other end of the red phone just has this weird like spatula looking mixer gun, and the troll kid just starts screaming for his life. And then we cut back to Skug's place where he's, you know, letting everyone into the Freakshow carnival, and it's a bunch of bikers and a bunch of drunks and a bunch of just maniacs acting up and just going all through the place. We see this one like tiger that's an ass on both ends, and this one guy's making out with a goat for some fucking reason. And then we see everyone just having a ride inside the carnival area, and then Skug just walks up on stage, he's like, quiet please, and then everyone just sits down automatically. He's like, thank you. I mean, that's some control over the crowd. Skug's announcing, he's like, I got several new and returning attractions, and don't worry, Beast Boy's still here as well. Then we see the bearded lady, Mr. T, on stage, and he's giving a makeup tutorial to everyone in the crowd. And then we see one of the person in the crowd, like there's a big burly biker guy, and the guy beside him is like doing up his beard, making him look all nice and pretty. We see Bobcat on stage. He's the sock puppet character at this point in time, and he's singing, doing his little bell routine, and then his hand falls forward and hits the mic, and the sock gets ripped off. We find out it's another hand underneath, and everyone starts booing him because it's like, hey, he's got another hand on there. He's not a sock creature. He's not a sock monster. That's not fair. Then Coogan comes up on stage and he's giving like this Shakespeare speech, and a couple people are crying. And then we have Skug's looking for his man and be like, I didn't write this crap. What the hell's going on here? And then we cut over and we see Professor Nigel Crump, Oxford University. He's explaining, if you can't understand this speech and everything that's behind it, maybe you're a little bit stupid. Coogan gets done his speech, and then everyone starts cheering him. And then Skuggs comes out on stage. He's like, everyone likes it, so might as well promote it. And then we see this guy in a suit come through the tent, and Coogan's like, he's S is here to save me. And the guy's like, I like this new look you got going on here. But guess what? You're going to be stuck here for a long, long time, okay? Then everyone starts laughing at him. And then the next thing you know, we see Coogan's one eye turn red, and some slime starts coming out of his face. And then he gets all pissed off. He rips off the head of the guy in the suit and just smashes it down on the ground. And we see blood and guts go all over the place. And then everyone starts running around in a panic. And then we see Coogan in the outhouse trying to escape through the doggy door for some reason, and then he hears some glass bottles, and it's the milkman. So he starts whispering to the milkman. He's like, hey, milkman, over here, can you open this doggy door so I can get out, please? Coogan's like, hey, I just dropped this turd that looks like Kim Basinger, and she's naked. He's like, actually, I gotta see this now. Let me open this trap door, doggy door area, and go take a look at this turd. The milkman gets inside. He's like, that's a regular turd. Actually kind of looks like Winona Ryder, to be honest with you. And then we just hear a punching sound, and then we see Coogan coming out dressed as the milkman. We see Coogan go around to all the vehicles. He goes to the milk truck. Milk truck is locked. Goes to car's locked. Goes to a bike. Apparently the bike has a lock on it. Goes to a boat, and then it's got like the carjack steering thing on it. He's like, damn it. Then next thing you know, we see two eyeball officers behind him with machine guns. I mean, these two eyeball characters, the way they sound, they might be the influence for the Minions for all we know at this point in time. They sound the same almost. You see the two little eyeball officers pushing Coogan into the house where Skuggs is, and then we see them sitting down having a conversation, and Coogan's like, so you're gonna kill me now? Like, nah, I could do that, but Beast Boy's, a big hit for me, so I'm not gonna do that to you. And then the phone rings, and it's the laughing guy from ES or whatever. He's like, I'm ready to go whenever. I'm just writing down this information. And then the guy hangs up on him again. He's like, damn asshole. And then we see Coogan leaving the den. He's allowed to go now. He's still in the milkman outfit. And then he's running to chase after this paperwork that he stole from inside of Skug's house, because that's the notepad he's writing on. And as he's chasing down the paperwork, he bumps into Ortiz, who's dressed as a milkman, and then everyone else behind him is dressed as milkman as well. So Bobcat's like, hey, look, they're a milkman. You'll never notice all of us escaping at once. Coogan goes to stop them. He's like, you guys are going to get killed. You don't know about Skug's, giant Rastasta eyeballs with machine guns. They're just gonna kill you. Just stop here. Let's not get killed, okay? And then of course Ortiz and Coog get in a fight with each other, and apparently Ortiz has like a butterfly knife at some point, just pulls it out, and from inside the house, Skuggs is watching. He's like, that's a lot of milkmen on the same route. No wonder they all fight then. You're trying to drop off milk first. And I didn't realize this before, but there's a squirrel, and then Ortiz goes to chase after it. The eyeballs inside that circling head are actually the Rasta eyeball monsters the whole time. They're the eyeballs inside the machine just rotating around as a security system. Then we see them back in the outhouse area, and they're going over the paperwork that they took off that book, and Julie's reading the paperwork, and apparently there's the laughing man. If they do this thing, then they're going to get 500 liters of the chemical to make more mutants. Then we see Coogan sitting down with their fellow freaks, being like, tomorrow night at the show, I'm going to be turned into a super freak, and I'm going to be ordered to kill you all. And I say we got to work together to make this plan happen, so I don't kill you guys, so we can get out here. And then the big nose guy's like, we should kill him now. We should kill him now before he kills us. And the worm freak's like, we should go to the lab to program the machine, so that way you kill Skuggs instead of killing us. And Coogan's like, I actually had a different plan. And then everyone else starts speaking up. It's like, well, how do we get to the lab? Hey, we'll have the worm dig down to the lab. And everyone's just avoiding Coogan's plan because Coogan doesn't want to be turned into a super freak by any means. Then everyone's like, hi Rick, how'd you come up with such a good plan? He's like, actually I didn't have that plan. My plan is we send away for these sea monkeys and then train them how to use guns, and we use them to fight off Skuggs and his guys. But if you like the other plan, we'll definitely go with the other plan that you guys came up with that I totally didn't have anything to do with. We get to the scene where we see the worm digging underneath Toad, and Coogan and Julie and Ernie are following, and then we see Toad above him, right? And he shoots his tongue up, and he sucks in a whole goddamn helicopter that's flying overhead, or a plane, one of the two. I just heard the sound quickly, and then I saw some wings, or propellers. I'm not really too sure what it was. It's CGI, so. You see them digging, and then they come up to this one thing. It's like, oh, it's a lost town or not. And then the screen changes, because it's like a Polaroid changing, and at one point in time, it goes to Ernie's bar mitzvah. He's like, hey, look at that, it's my bar mitzvah. Hey, look, it's my aunt and uncle. And they're like, hey, we gotta wait, we gotta see the other scenes. And they're like, no, we gotta go. And then they finally dig to the lab, and next thing you know, we see the bearded man showing up, being like, hey guys, how's it going? Then we cut back to the outhouse, and Socks, Bobcat's character, is freaking out because he's like, I'm getting out of here, I'm not gonna die. And then next thing we know, we see the Rasta eyes breaking through the front of the barn doors. He's like, nobody move, nobody get hurt. And then Saw's like, get out of my way. And then we just see him getting laced with bullets and getting dropped to the ground. And then the bearded man comes over and starts, pulling off the saw and holding his hand. And the hand puppet talking, but we see some blood coming out of the hand. So then we see Worm, Coogan, and Neil and Ernie inside the lab. They're working to change the machine, and Coogan accidentally sets off this alarm, and then he turns out like, oops, nobody make any more mistakes, alright? And then he hits a styrofoam cup, and it falls and hits the floor, and next thing you know, Scully's like, a styrofoam cup just dropped in my lab, what happened? And then we see them going to the machine and watching the green goop slowly pop out, and it's not coming out right. So Coogan's like, man, Worm, you screwed this thing up, I'm gonna wring your neck. He's like, that's preposterous, I actually do not have a neck to ring. Then we see the lab starting to shake, and Skuggs is outside trying to open the door. Apparently he's having issues with the door handle. I'm not sure if it's too hard or what's the issue. And then they're all escaping through the hole that they made. But of course, Coogan accidentally hits the jar and it rolls away. He can't grab it in time. And then Skuggs comes in. And he's like, styrofoam cup, bad for the environment. Coogan's going back through the tunnel. The whole tunnel's breaking down. And he's like, alright guys, so we cracked the code and got the ointment we need for taking down Skuggs. But then he's like, so I actually forgot it in the lab. And they start pelting him with tomatoes and salad and everything else. He's like, well, wait, I found macaroons. There's enough for all of us, so stop hitting me with stuff, please. It's now the next morning, and we hear some trucks showing up. And Coogan starts looking out the peephole, and we see the EES truck showing up, and they're forklifting of this whole trailer out, or a table out of the trailer, and it's all the suit guys sitting at the table, and one of them falls off and gets like his head smashed up against the trailer. And next thing you know, we see them sitting around the table, and they open up this burlap sack, and the troll kid is inside of it. And he starts screaming for Coogan. Skuggs is looking at Troll, and he's like, he's ugly. He's also pretty crazy too, by the sound of it. How about we go put him in our little two-headed chicken coop? Skuggs being like, I know my place is just small and a little silly, but I'm going to turn Ricky Coogan into a super freak, and I want to show you what super Freakland's going to look. And he pulls off a tarp, and we see a one display, which is what the place looks like now, and then we see the new display. It's literally just the same display, just sized up a couple notches, and nothing else has changed to it. For some reason, they're talking about Bambi. It's like, Bambi sucks, and then someone says, what about the part where the mother gets shot? And Skuggs like, yeah, that was actually a good part. I like that part of the movie, actually, to be honest with you. We see Bill on the EES team showing off what their plans are, and their plan is to make the worker drone, and it's a guy with like 8 freaking arms, so he can do multiple jobs at once. And as Troll is moving through the underneath of the table, he accidentally steps on Dick Bryan's foot, so then Dick thinks it's Skuggs the whole time, like getting touchy-feely. So then he puts his arm around, and then Skuggs is all confused. And then Troll on the way back puts his hand on Skuggs' foot, and Skuggs is like, hey, you getting all touchy-feely with me there? And Bill's like, hey, we can put this stuff in the water supply, and bingo, in a few little seconds, we'll have a whole new race of people to control. Right here, right today, right tomorrow, we're building a better future for the people who stand behind EES. We cut to the actual carnival, and they're opening up the stage, and Skuggs like, I want to welcome you all here, and welcome to my Beast Boy, as we see him tied to a table, and Skuggs has another jar in his hand. He's like, I'm going to make him into a special super freak. We see Troll in the audience. He's like, hey Rick, look, I'm here, I got the container, see, I got the container. And this biker guy's like, would you sit down and take some container? And spills it all over Troll, and then Troll grows up into this giant monster. He's like, hey, you got a problem with me, mister? And the biker guy goes to stab him with his knife, and the knife just bends in half, and the biker's like, hey, didn't mean to try to stab you there. And then Skuggs is like, this kid looks like he's pissed. Alright, come kill him. So the two eyes start coming at him, start shooting at him, but the bullets don't do anything. So then Troll just throws some dirt in their eyes, and they run away scared. So then Skuggs calls in Toad, and Toad goes to attack him with his tongue. And out of nowhere, Julie and Ernie had like firecrackers, so they throw it in the midair, and that actually hits Toad's tongue. And he sucks them in, he's like, oh shit. And he just blows up into pieces. So then Skuggs gets tired of messing around, so he puts more cream onto Coogan's face, and then we just see Coogan as a fully troll-looking creature, and then Coogan starts fighting Troll because of the brainwashing. We see Skuggs being like, give him the skull cracker, you big oof. And Ernie's like, hey, no, that's an illegal move. He can't be doing that move. Also, then two of the suit guys are telling Skuggs that their equipment is proper theirs. And apparently EES stands for everything except shoes. I didn't realize that. They might have said it earlier on in the movie. Maybe I didn't listen. Maybe I didn't hear it. But out of nowhere, Skuggs pulls out a giant rocket launcher. He's like, eat this, scum buckets. But it's not an actual rocket launcher because it's just spraying them with the chemical all over their face. Coogan gets Troll down on the ground, and then he goes over to where the freaks are chained up or in a cage. And he breaks the cage, and one of the other trolls inside is like, kill Nosy. You always hit Nosy the most. Kill him first. And next thing you know, we see where Skuggs was shooting those office guys. They turn into this deformed giant shoe because now they're what the company wasn't, I guess. Cut to the Daily Show where she's like, I'm sorry, I gotta cut your story a little bit. We actually gotta go to a commercial where we're gonna talk about McCheeseville, the big tough cheese in a can. Coogan starts thinking back what the cow troll said, or cow freak. He's like, you could just let him into your heart and everything will be just fine. And then Troll's like, I love you, Coogan. So then they hug, and everyone starts clapping and cheering on because it's a happy moment now. And then Skuggs is like, Beast Boy, I gave you an order. You better kill them. Skuggs is like, I'm a wrecking machine. Just wait until I get my jacket off. I'm gonna break you. He starts punching him, Coogan in the stomach. I'm just going by, and we can see Skuggs is losing his stamina, and Coogan's actually yawning, being like, I'm bored of this. So then he cracks him in the top of the head, and Skuggs is like, I think you cracked my spinal cord. I can't feel anything in my fingers at all. He's like, maybe you'll feel this then, Skuggs. He's like, no, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me again, please. Then Coogan gets tired of listening to Skuggs, so then he kicks him, and it looks like he sacks him. He goes up through the top of the roof of the carnival, and when he lands back down in, he lands into the actual chemical vat, and everyone starts cheering, and then the FBI starts breaking in, like, everybody freeze, and they're like, what's going on here? And the FBI's like, great job, Ricky, you'll get a medal for this one. He's like, but how did you know? He's like, we've been following this case for years now. And then we see the chemical vat moving, and we think it's Skuggs coming out, and then Skuggs actually looks like Sky Daily, and the story ends, and she's like, wow, that was a very entertaining story. As we look around at our crowd, everyone's asleep, and then the lights come on, and we see Ricky. It's just normal, and there's a cactus behind him. So this whole time, we thought the shadow was him being deformed still, but he's not. And then everyone else starts coming out. Mr. T comes out, and everyone looks normal again. And apparently it was the macaroons, and the worm comes out, and he's like, this is ridiculous. Just because someone doesn't like macaroons doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to change back to my human form. And then out of nowhere, Ortiz runs on stage grabbing that squirrel, and then everyone's like, Ortiz, it's you. And he's like, hey guys, it's you. It's funny to see you guys. And this guy's like, well, that's great. What a story, what an ending. And it's weird that Elijah changed it from the group, and he looked like me. And he's like, yeah, same face, same outfit. And he just had these really big hideous feet, and they look down, and she's got the really big hideous feet, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna drink your blood. And then she starts getting shot from behind, and the whole time behind her was Julie, and they, Julie and Ricky are like, it's finally over, everything's good, we can, be a happy couple together for some reason. And then Troll comes in, still looking like a troll, of course, and then Sky gets back up, Skuggs, whatever you want to call him. And the next thing you know, we see behind her is Ernie, and he starts shooting her. He's like, oh, like that wasn't totally predictable, huh? Then we see them giving their final speech, and Coog's like, when men keep picking at things, create havoc. And he's like, yeah, and I realized that women are equal, blah, 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 some other stuff. He goes on for a while, to the point where Julie's like, would you just shut up and just dex him? And then as the movie's ending, we see Sky popping up with slime coming out of her mouth, and a machete in hand, getting ready to kill somebody. And then the outro credits start to roll, and the movie is over. And I gotta say, I'm really glad I watched this one for the first time ever. I think this movie is actually a lot of fun, and I definitely highly recommend you guys check it out. On the rotten scale of 10, I'm giving this one a solid 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a lot of fun, and the creature effects look really cool and really fun, so definitely go check this out. Halloween's just around the corner, so it's a good time to watch it, and it's, like I said, it's free on YouTube. Which brings us to what we're going to be watching next week. Alright, so I've decided what I'm going to pick next. It's another movie that I've never actually seen before. I've never even heard of this one before, but we're going to watch it. It's from 1981. It's free on YouTube, so definitely go check it out if you want to, watch it beforehand. It's from 1981, like I said, it's PG, it's an hour and 3-4 minutes long, and apparently it's a sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's called Shock Treatment. Like I said, I don't know anything about this. This is just what the title's saying on YouTube. I'm gonna have to do some more research into it, but it does have some of the same cast members doing the same characters, so maybe it is actually the sequel. I don't really know. I'm very curious to watch it and see how it goes. So that's our movie for next week. It's a musical comedy, so I'm guessing it's kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Probably nowhere near as good, seeing I haven't heard of this movie at all on any of my horror forums or movie threads or anything like that. So I'm a little bit confused, but we're going to be watching that one next week. Might be a little bit hard to talk about, seeing the musical aspect of things, but we'll see what we can do. And as always, make sure to check out the Toronto-based band Blood Opera, as they do the outro music each and every single week. I know I've had Slasher Dave a couple times as well, but for the most part, Blood Opera is your outro music. Definitely go check them out on Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, and the main thing being Spotify, as well as YouTube. But definitely go check them out. Great group of guys. Definitely a bunch of cool songs. So hopefully you'll like their stuff. Give them a like or a thumbs up or whatever. A follow, a subscribe, whatever it might be. It's late at night right now, and I'm tired, so we're getting ready to call it a night. As always, check out all my links down below as well. At Typhon Sign, we have the Facebook page, we have the X page, we have the Instagram page, just the TikTok page as well, and the main thing being that YouTube channel that we got going, where you can watch the weekly gaming video every single Wednesday. We have live streams over there. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I've actually been live streaming for like 6 days straight. Not consistent, like it's full days straight, but every 8 p.m. Eastern time to about 10:30, sometimes 11. We've been streaming on there, doing Fortnite lately, or all the time usually for the most part. But we're gonna be streaming some other games at some point in time as well. And then we have various shorts, we have community posts,
and once we hit 1,000 subs over there, gonna be giving away some free artwork. So definitely go check out the YouTube channel if you could. Hit that share button, hit that like button on any of the videos, and just subscribe, turn on bell notifications. That way you get notified every single time we post a new video. And in general, if you could just share the podcast, share their pages, I appreciate that so much. It means a lot to me. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.
Was it in my